Yes.
Yes. Yay. So, we will get started. First things first, we have 750 mils of milk. Now, I actually use powdered milk, which equates to about $8.50 for 10 litres of it, if I buy it from Pack and Save, New Zealand, of course. Aston, are you going to do the milk pouring? I'll help.
That sounded like a swimming pool with water.
It did sound like a swimming pool with water. And when we need 750 ml of boiling water, which I will do because it's not like I don't trust the kids, but I don't trust them at all.
With boiling water before, Mum.
Have you?
Yes.
Right. Well, this time Mum will do it. So all that in a bowl. Then we need yeast. If I was organised, I would have put everything on the bench, but I'm not, so I didn't. Now, I just use this stuff, bread maker's yeast, as opposed to the other yeast. I think it's called active yeast. I just buy whatever is on special, the cheapest type. And 3 tablespoons, just sort of 3 scant tablespoons. You can do a table. We're doing 3, so you can put 1 in each. How about that? Tablespoon. Nice and quick. Just tip. Right.
That's like porridge.
Looks like porridge, you reckon?
Porridge.
Tablespoon.
Porridge with.
And Olivia. Tablespoon.
Porridge with wheat bits.
Porridge with wheat bix. I've never tried that one.
Yeah, looks like
Right.
that.
Let's give this a little bit of a stir. And then we just want to let this sit for about 20 minutes, just while the yeast starts activating. Got a few bumpy. Normally I kind of sprinkle it on a bit thinner than that, but when you got helpers, you just roll with it. So we'll leave that for about 20 minutes, but just in the meantime, we can be prepping the rest of the mix. We need a big bowl. I should point out, I should have pointed this out first, I'm making about 30 of these. With a family of 5, we can go through them in a matter of a few days. They are meant to last for a good couple of weeks in the fridge, but I've never tested that theory, because they just don't last. Now, flour, again I just buy the cheapest brand of flour. It doesn't have to be high grade or anything. We need 7 cups of flour. We're doing a big batch. Yes, Sam, is that a question, or are you asking to put a cup in? There's 7 cups. So
that means 2 for me, 2 for Sam, 2 for Aston, and 1 for you.
Correct. Hopefully your maths teacher is watching.
Because 4
1
plus 3 equals 7.
Correct.
4 plus 3.
2.
4.
You. Not from quite such a height. 1. Thank you. Yep, just nice and quick. Okay. Yes. You wanted a castle. Maybe later. 2. Yep.
Now, Mum,
Me next, you reckon? I'll do my 1. And 1.
oh yeah.
Don't poke the flour. And 1. 2. Our favourite thing is to have peanut butter and jam on these, isn't it? Or Olivia quite likes just butter.
Just butter and just butter and Fredro jam, or just butter and peanut butter.
Right.
I like peanut jam and butter.
peanut butter jam and butter. Right. Now, next we are getting...
I like peanut butter nacho with jam.
Baking soda, whatever is cheapest. Ta-da. But my husband puts ham and mustard on these, which I think is gross, but each to their own. 3 teaspoons of baking soda. 1.
A castle! It can be snow.
It's like a castle.
That can be like snow on a mountain.
It is like snow on a mountain.
Castle.
Yeah, Elsa's castle.
Because that baking soda is whiter and whiter.
It is very white. What my husband actually does is he has about 4 of these in the morning, and because they're actually very filling, they keep him full up till lunchtime, and he's not exactly a light eater, so it's actually proves quite economical. Now what do I do? 1 teaspoon of salt. As there's only 1, I'll do it. Does that sound fair?
3rd each.
Because no, I'll do it. What part of I'll do it means hold your hand out for the spoon. Right, and then we just need to wait a few more minutes for this to activate. Now this has been brewing for about 20 minutes or so. So next thing is to add this into the flour mixture. So, without spilling any, I actually just give it a bit of a stir as I'm pouring, because then otherwise you get lots of little yeasty residue sort of in the bowl. So it now looks like a lovely big pile of slop. And we get out a very noisy mixer. That is not entirely necessary, but that's just the way some people roll. So, you know, if you can't handle a mixer, you do what you gotta do. So we just make sure this is good and mixed in. It'll go a bit lumpy, so it just requires, yes, it requires a helper. No, it requires 1 helper. 1 helper with other children not pulling faces. Turn that up a bit, we have to try and get all the lumps out. Now once all the lumps are out, we may need to add a bit more flour. But I will show you in a moment. Now, I'm going to add just a bit more flour to this because what we want is, we want the mixture to start creeping up the bits here. It kind of goes kind of elasticy feeling and it starts creeping up. So, a wee bit more flour in. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So, I'll just put a wee bit more flour in. Just slowly let that sort of mix in. You did a good job, Aston. And what do you reckon, a little bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Now, see how the mixture's kind of riding up the meters like that? That's how we want it. Kind of looking slightly elasticy. Start all riding up. So, take that out. Take that slowly so it kind of... There we go. Now, oh, we take those out. And do we lick these?
No.
No, there. No, the one side we don't lick the mixers. Gross. You can take your earmuffs off now. Now, good old Glad wrap. You just have to cover this.
I'm gonna cut it.
You're going to cut it, alright.
I want to cut it.
Okay, you can cut the next bit, because I need 2 bits. Yeah, we'll let Sam cut the next bit. Just move the hands out the way, so we'll do it on the other side. So, this bit, right, Sam, cutting. Slide it across. Yay. Right. Now,
How does the blue bit like it cuts?
I'll explain it later. The people on this video don't really need to know that. Maybe you do, I don't know. So now we just have to leave this and it will start bubbling and rising up. Now it does vary a bit, sometimes it'll raise all the way to the top, sometimes it'll sort of rise only a little bit but start going all bubbly, but either way if we leave this in, it helps if the room is warm. If it's a cold room you'll find it won't rise very much. If the room is nice and toasty you'll find it'll rise right up, so we'll see how this goes. We'll leave it for at least a good couple of hours and then we'll be ready to cook it. Right, so a few hours have gone by, we've had dinner and as you can see that's risen up quite a bit, not all the way up, but you can see why we used a big bowl because it can sort of double its volume just in bubbles and it is nice and bubbly. Now I have preheated the oven to 150 degrees and I've put it on the wrong setting just to show you what not to do. What I normally do is, it's fine to put it on normal bake, normally I put it on so it's just the very bottom part of the oven that's heating up. So it's just like down the bottom, so it's heating it from the bottom. So, yes, what's the issue, Aston? First, we get the flash off the bench. It is nearly his bedtime, he's a bit grumpy. Now, let's pop some oil in here, because that makes it really, really easy for getting out. Now, there are options with cooking these. I use this big tray, so I do like a big slab of them, and then chop them up from there. Now, one thing we did try was getting the oil to go all around. One thing we did actually try was cooking them on the top of the oven, which is how I actually quite like cooking things, because, well, it's free heat. And when we did that...
On top of the oven?
We did? Don't you remember that? So anyway, we did try doing it on top of the fireplace. We put a frying pan on top of the fireplace and put some of these circly things. I just got them, I think they were $3 from Kmart or something like that, $2 each I'm being told. And just blobbed it in there to get some circular ones, and while that did work, it took all night to cook them. So I found just doing it in a big slab in the oven was the best way. Now, I try and estimate about half of this. So, slop, snop. Or maybe, slop, loopity loop. And I'll get a spoon or something. And smoosh it round. Now sometimes it comes out really runny and you barely need to even smooth it out. Sometimes it's a bit more gloopy like this.
Sometimes the batch of crumpets comes out thick, but sometimes it comes out thin.
Yes, Olivia.
What do you prefer?
And sometimes
Crumpets
I prefer thick ones, sometimes thin ones on especially cold days.
I'll cook that for about 12 minutes. That's the number 12. So the oven beeps, we'll take that out, turn it out, and we'll see how they came out. And the kids are going to bed. Right, we have had the beep from the oven. So, we'll check on the first batch, which is looking pretty good. It's kind of going all nice and bubbly on top. And if I give this a bit of a jiggle, oh yeah, look at that. So now, fortunately for me, hands out the way, this is very hot. Yes, we have one child still left up. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Now, I have a nice big chopping board that is brilliant for this. I'm sure you'll develop your own special technique, but jump. And there is one slab looking absolutely spiffing. Just put a little coat of oil on so that it comes off nice. Shung, 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 shung. Put out the rest of it. And that one comes out. Yay. Right, so now we have 2 big slabs of yummy, which fit perfectly on my chopping board, which is just a fluke, honest. So now I chop them up. There is no science to this. Make love hearts for all I care. I just usually chop them into about 30. Right. And so, you should have. Sometimes they look thicker, sometimes they look thinner. But what I'll do is...
Thinner ones have got more crunch.
They do, the thinner ones have got more crunch. I think there's some over on this slab. This slab came out a bit thinner. But yeah, you pop them in the toaster and they're absolutely brilliant. I didn't chop that one that well. I'll actually pop one in the toaster and show you how the thicker ones can actually be sliced. Right, so I've toasted a couple of them up so you can see what they come out like. Nice and crispy on the bottom and yummy on the top. That one I'd probably just put a topping on as is, but I'll show you what I sometimes do as well. A couple of the kids like this, and that's when I get a nice thick one. And you slice it down the middle. And it comes out all nice and bubbly. That one wasn't cut very even, but you get the idea.
If you retoast it, they come out so crunchy.
So yes, that's that whole batch, 30 crumpets for total cost of about $2.50. And yeah, I usually just stick them in a bread bag and put them in the fridge. They're gone within a few days, or they actually do freeze well. So yeah, thank you for watching. Feel free to like and share.